Peace and blessings, family. Sister Anjali, my condolences to the family of Brother Dikembe Mutombo. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that name. I am not I love athletics, but I don't watch most sporting attractions for probably because I'm a woman and it's just not my thing. Um, but I understand he was a outstanding figure in the basketball, the NFL. Was it the NFL or NBA? Um, in terms of his career and even after, and he just passed at 58 from brain cancer. And I thank you, Brother Willie King, for letting me know because I didn't know. I came and I looked at all of your comments first before every day, like 2, 3 times a day, I keep abreast of what's happening in the many different regards that man-made radiation affects that. And so Brother Wooly Viking actually had said radiation increasing. And I'm so glad, brother, that you recognize just the glaring, crime that is being waged against all peoples, but Black us specifically, um, in that the radiation levels are increasing. They could not be increasing with Japan just deluging the Pacific Ocean even more than they were already deluging it, with the release of what they call the tritium water, but it's already been documented that it's not just tritium in there. It's not possible for them to filter out that water. It's not possible for them to contain it in those steel uh, vessels that had no adequate coating whatsoever inside of them to withstand the heat of radiation. And there is no container on Earth other than when you find the radiation in uranium ore, where then it has enough uranium 238 or 235, I do believe, that is so heavy it winds up suppressing the volatility of all the transuranic isotopes, as they call them. And so when they bombard and remove that suppressing isotope, then they get access to all the other different types of radionuclides that you can't just, once you release them, there's nothing that is known or discovered yet that can withstand that amount of energy, and thereby all that radiation is going into the ocean. But on top of that, they target Black us through the CMOS, and that reminds me to highlight this. I always just scroll right past the advertisements because all of these companies are lying to us, and thereby I'm not giving you any of my money. The more I see you advertise, the less likely I am to give you a goddamn cent. And I'm just stating the facts. We ain't got nobody else out here highlighting the hazards of radiation enough so that now they have to advertise CMOS for white people. They never did that before until I just started exposing the unwieldy, like push in the Black community where you had like, Black publications owned by Shad Ali, I think is his name. Don't quote me on that one. But he's Arab. Like, what are you coming to the US for to buy all Black media? Because that's essentially what he did. And all of these different Black celebrities pushing CMOS. I'm like, Like they had even not Ebony necessarily, but Essence magazine had an article where they're like, oh, this is what you need to be drinking now. And when you went in to the different media platforms, social media platforms, and looked up sea moss, it would be almost nonstop Black Us. But they want to, now that I've just gotten a bit of a warning out, probably a huge warning out, because I've seen certain, sellers of sea moss pull back pull back. They've removed their advertisements. They're still on their websites. They'll be selling the sea moss, which is really bad because if you're even touching the stuff, you're contaminated. Okay. But yeah, now they're pushing it to the white people rather than just fessing up, which in Daily Mail they did for a second, for just a hot second. All right. But the goal is, as what's Zuckerberg has been emphasizing with his t-shirts. This one says either Caesar or either nothing. That's for them the choice. And he means that almost, I'm sure, as helpful advice to other white people who are beholding to their principality of evil, where on the surface they pretend that they want to do the right thing, but they don't mean anything of the sort whatsoever. They mean tyranny. That's what Caesar's about. And so they would never confess the hell of radioactive deluge. And this one means learning through suffering. They haven't suffered at all. They just are feeling the righteous karma of all the hell they've unleashed because they were seeking nonstop hedonistic, gluttonistic, materialistic pleasure. They equate envy with suffering. No, that just means that you need to do something honestly and genuinely for yourself. Like, take Black women, us, and the weave thing, where we are envying a whole nother race of people and just equating beauty with them rather than looking ourselves sternly in the mirror and saying, well, why don't I feel like I'm beautiful just the way that I am, the way that I was born to be? And I got to emphasize, Black women are not the fakest women on earth. I had done a whole report on my other channel that there were white women out there getting pinky toe removal surgery. I kid you not. And they'll have even parties, especially amongst the teenagers, to celebrate getting, now they just call it rhinoplasty rather than just a nose job. And various, they're all into the BBL because they're so afraid to mention the reason why they want the BBL that they call it a Brazilian butt lift. And so I don't want it to contribute to the myth that Black women are the fakest on the planet. Of course, we're not. It's just there's a lot of folks out there who may be Black, but really don't want to be that for very long. All right. And so, no, that's not suffering. That is actually kowtowing, just being fearful of the truth, of the facts. Truth sets you free. It doesn't make you suffer if you embrace it and build from it. But they've built their whole society based on lies, based on the weave of whiteism, right? And then this other shirt, this is a confession that it's about Black us. This says Carthage must be destroyed. This is all written in Latin. It's all ancient Roman because that was their fiercest opponent was Carthage, and then just all of those African nations that were too powerful for them to destroy. But they've managed through the millennia to just because they never stop fighting. They never stop just Caesar or nothing. And so they managed to finally get on into Africa. Israel was supposed to be set up in Uganda, but that really looked ridiculous. So instead, the Palestinians are bearing the brunt of what they plan for Black you and me. And so they're shipping radioactive rice right on into Africa. There's so many African statesmen and singers who are dying. I've highlighted it and I've shown that even in their own websites, news websites, they're saying 2, 3 in 1 week, gone, dead. All right? This is an actual genuine war. It is a fact that they are utterly silent about this map. And they weren't looking for, what do they call, forever chemicals. They weren't looking for microplastics. This is an awful lot of resources, manpower is money. Money to do all of these studies to find what is this and what is that. Let's see now, I'm trying to get that one right there. 125 samples that found strontium 90, cesium, carbon 14, cesium 137, radium 226, plutonium. Plutonium's a transuranic isotope. It is not, you can't find it naturally occurring on the planet, all right? Plutonium 239 and 240. I don't know what H is, and I know that I do believe this is radium 228, and this is thorium 228, and americium 241. Good Lord, 125 samples in one spot. One spot. Every single one of those samples came with a friggin' bill. All right? No, I don't want to download that. I'm just showcasing. And this is the Atlantic Ocean. And over here, where I've said that's where Fukushima, boy, they've been busy up over there. That's where it's killed billions of creatures, billions of creatures. And it doesn't matter, obviously, where you get your CMOS from, and for the Black nations accepting the donations, because China's been donating plenty to Africa, smiling all the way, got the Chinese people ferociously pissed at Africans because they're being treated like crap, and you don't deserve that. No, you don't. Right? But they're donating to Africa. And you think the way that Xi Jinping is like smiling at the Africans, he loves them. No, the Chinese would probably smile a lot more themselves if they knew he was slaughtering them by being the doorway that they ship Japanese rice in. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, I'm not a genocider. They're now allowing Fukushima, all Japanese products into China. They set something up, in my firm conclusion, where they even assassinated a Japanese child. That's my conclusion, because it was done by, I do believe it was a police officer, somebody in the defensive forces, either at the local or in the military level. And he killed a child. And this is a second child. And China, trying to apologize, suddenly agreed to allow in all Japanese food. If it's actually radioactive, how in the world would you then agree to like slaughter all your people? You surely know even one atom is deadly. That's the science of it. All right? But this is all these principalities of evil. They're all collaborating. They're all colluding. So to Brother Dikembe and his family, first to him, my ashe, ashe, ashe. And to his family, my sincere condolences for your loss. Good Lord. Please, let's not have 58 be like the Middle Ages, back in the dark ages for them, where living to be 58 was a grand old age. right? That's what happens when you let folks who just are twisted, beyond twisted, out and in control of your sense of what is important. Suddenly dying at 58, it makes sense, and it doesn't make sense. Please never normalize this sort of thing, because they never stop. This is just, as quickly as possible. Swedish foreign minister says country must speak openly of the downsides of mass immigration. No, for them it's an upside altogether. They planned all of this because they needed the white people in Europe to be angry at the brown and black people so they could come and do whatever to us, like I just saw. Or Trump is now saying, oh no, we need to let the police do whatever the heck they want to do, right? If they should just have like an hour or two, like the purge. And in the comments, it was another Daily Mail article. People were white people. This is how they justified slavery, slowly but surely. They were saying things like, oh, yeah, it's just out of control. I have people I can't do anything about who come into my store and steal. So we should remove the rule of law when they're the ones who have opened up the borders everywhere to piss common white people off, because they're so easy to piss off. They want an excuse. They're looking for an excuse because they're losing a gasket. It's the last days. And if you are beholding to principalities of evil, you have no logic in your psyche whatsoever. Thereby, you'll justify any brutality. Okay? And so that's what they're doing. When they're the ones who started this. And they're the ones who are being affected too, where I get more articles about white people dying of cancer, but they're clueless. They're freaking clueless. Most people don't know. Chinese, Japanese, Korean, I see it all the time in these videos I watch about the CCP. They had the nerve to say, oh, the CCP is now allowing food in from Japan, and it must be safe because, look, the Japanese are fine. You don't know what the hell's going on with the Japanese, because they started a secrecy act where if you said anything whatsoever about what was going on in Fukushima or about radiation, you was going to jail. Okay? That's what all of that has just locked off from further examination and investigation, so that you would know. I showed an article, 6,000% increase in cancers just around Fukushima. And there was even higher levels in Tokyo. Of course, people are dying. They're just not reporting it. So this is me talking at a step event. Striving together equals progress. Oh, one of the rescues of my inspiration, of my certainty that Black us are the most amazing people on the planet. Striving together equals progress. I'm going to put a link to their Instagram account so that you can go and verify that there's mighty Black men raising mightier Black youth, because they're the future, with the truth from childhood. Whoa, okay? And I see it in our own son, where like people are always saying, you are really just just an upstanding young man, and that he is. And he is. When you don't believe the devil anymore, things get a whole heck of better. But this is from 2020. I was talking about it. I have it on my larger channel that they took away because they didn't want you to have the proof of what the heck's going on. I was highlighting the unnatural demises long before all that stuff that, oh, they want to see, it's double cancer. No, it's not. Black us had the lowest rates of rolling up our sleeves like a bunch of lemmings of all. They had to offer free weed, free chicken and biscuits just to get us to do that. And we still knew, no, 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 no. Okay? So when I share the info about my book, Furnace of Affliction, it's meant as a rescue. what is in this book is strategize to save you, because there are specifics about radiation that you can't just eat healthy and you're going to be okay. You can't just exercise and you're going to be okay. Right? Brother did not look fat. Brother Mutombo did not look like he would consider himself anything but healthy. Right? But there's other things, because the radiation, this is a 1950s, could be 1940s drawing done by the US military, because they know radiation, if it's ingested or it's inhaled, it is, oh my goodness, I don't know, like millions of times, depending on what you're eating, how much you're eating, and one atom is enough. They found no safe level, right? It is more hazardous than the radiation from an exploded nuclear reactor if it's a one-time gigantic dose. And for some reason, you're not like incinerated right there, right? I'm not saying that that's a good thing to do, but eating this stuff, that's all it takes. And they know that. This is not guesswork. When they suddenly increase the levels of radiation allowed, that's because they just have it as part of their usual regulations. As soon as it's been sitting around for like a year, then it's just part of background level. No big deal. But your body hasn't changed. So my book, this was I made sure I got the screen captures off of my conversation with Amazon chat because they hit it. They hit it, right? Hope you and your family are safe in the present situation. This was during all the scandalendemic stuff, okay? And it's not a book about any of that. And I said, it's a good seller. Why is that? Why is it nowhere to be found in general searches or even in a book selective search? If you type in the whole title and my name, it never comes up. You have to have the specific link from a source outside of Amazon to find it. And let me check this for you. You would think that the Amazon company would have access directly, but she had to ask me for a link. Could you please help me with the link of the book? I had to get an outside link. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to find it ever again. All right. And brother Iapo Yapa, let me know about this. But I always check. And then it was gone. Right. And so thank you. She had to say that to me. That's the one. Let me check this for you. Thank you. Oh, she didn't know what to do. I will be transferring the chat to the concerned department. Please stay connected. I didn't even ask for the manager. She had to go get the manager. All right. Janet Florence. Thank you, Janet. You were very helpful. All right. But it's right there in the chat. So I'm just putting it out there. Okay. Let's see. Please give me a moment to review the previous correspondence. Thanks for being connected. And there you go. When was the last time you searched for it? Just an hour ago. My husband is the publisher. And so, yes, I completely understand your concern. I've informed this to our team. Let's go get the team's approval. And I request you please give us 3 to 7 business days, which the book was available again immediately. All right. You can go get it on Amazon. But because of this, we have it here at 25,000-year cycle. This is meant as a rescue. Not only my book, but you could come on over here and go right on over to the Let's Chat and schedule an appointment with Dr. Shi. He gives you cures, solutions, not just to your symptoms, but to the cause of whatever is ailing you, including cancer. And because there's nobody else doing this. I was mentioning the dudes with the wokery and all the rest of it. Please, if you can, I'm not going to be mad at you if you don't purchase anything, because Well, it's about trying to save our lives, right? So I'm not going to be mad though if you don't assist me in any way. I'm going to always fight because we are so extraordinary. We're so extraordinary. That's the difference. This isn't about a sales thing. Mm, okay? People are dying in greater and greater numbers. And I've known about it for as soon as Fukushima popped off, I was like, okay, that can't be good. And the more research I did, the more I verified. I knew what I suspected 100%. So come on over here. I'm going to give you the book list that I've read that has confirmed what I know. But this is the first book I'm going to highly recommend because it's the only one I've seen with the exacting remedies so you are not overcome, because it's not just the sea moss and the rice, and they're donating free canned salmon to women with children who are getting food stamps. What? What kind of people are these? These kind. Carthage must be destroyed. So this is page 1. You could halt it and look for these books yourself. The one of the ones I recommend the most is The Crime of Chernobyl, and also Behind the Fog, how the U.S. Cold War radiological weapons program exposed innocent Americans, by Lisa Martino Taylor. It lets you know you don't have to try to figure all the stuff out. This is kind of all around. That was page 5 there, but I wanted to go to page 2. This is page 2. Let's go to, oh, that was page 3 right there. I went too fast right there. Okay, so this is page 3. Right, this will just confirm they know all this stuff. They've known it for the longest time. Page 4, radioactive cesium in the heart. That you just have to download from Professor Yuri Bandashevsky. Salute to Professor Yuri Bandashevsky. What an amazing soldier. And his wife also. I hope they're okay. I really do. They put him through a lot. Secret Fallout is also amazing, by Dr. Ernest Sternglass. Salute to him, even though he's passed, right? Yeah, the nuclear gulag. Or forget all of these and just get this. I don't really mean forget all of them, but at the same time, I'm your sister. I know who we are. I know what we are to the entire planet. They're never going to tell all the truth. For them, it's Caesar or nothing. For us, it's submit to Allah and everything, right? Straight black pride, and we gonna be all right. Love you, peace, and blessings.